Hello everyone, and welcome back to another spooky painting. As you can see, I have to be careful in how I describe this painting because I can only say that it's from Beetlejuice once. I can't say that more than that, especially not 3 times, so that would be dangerous. But this is from that movie. It is Tim Burton inspired, and we went very kooky and crazy with it. And I did do a gesso painting first, as you will see very shortly. So if you guys would like to paint along or just simply enjoy me painting a spooky painting as inspired by Tim Burton's Beetlejuice, please feel free to join or just watch along and enjoy the ride. But also shake, 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 Sonora, shake your body line. Alright, as you guys saw in the intro, we're doing a very special painting. Now this is in reference to a movie, as I mentioned in the intro. I hope it looks good. I hope that what you guys saw in the intro makes you guys want to see what we are doing. Now, I did a lot of prep work in this, as you can see. So we started with a sketch. Obviously I wanted to get the door right, so I used like a ruler to like make sure the door looked correct. And then I did the sketch of the worm thing. I thought would be fun. And in the actual movie, they do mention that this is Saturn. They do mention that. So I thought we would give it as many moons as possible. So I gave it 3 whole moons, thinking that that would be a good idea. I don't know, I might regret having such a big moon here, but we're gonna see. And then we're gonna have like a sandy surface here, although Saturn is not really sandy, it's a gaseous planet, so that doesn't follow. So maybe we'll change things up a bit, have it gaseous slightly, I don't know. Obviously, you guys have already seen how it looks, so it's going to be great. I have full faith in myself, and in no way, shape, or form am I scared in the slightest, obviously. So I think, I'm terrified. Okay, so I think what we should do is start with the sky, and I think what I'm going to do is take some Viridian hue, and I'm going to have a Viridian hue at the bottom that kind of like transitions to Prussian blue at the top. So I'm going to go ahead and lay that in because I feel like space would look different from another surface. Basically what I'm trying to say is I'm taking a lot of liberties here. And yes, it is still based on the movie. But I'm sure Tim Burton would rather me be inspired than be perfectly accurate and copy everything 1-to-1, right? Obviously, there's going to be a little more, you know, coolness if I, instead of 1-to-1 copy, since I'm not that good anyways, if I just do some like cool, interesting interpretations of things, you know. That's my plan. That's my plan as it stands right now. Okay, so we've got a little bit of green on the bottom there. I'm just gonna grab just like a smidgiest of the Prussian blue. Keeping in mind, Prussian blue, really strong. Like it's like really, really strong, so. I'm going to get a little bit more blue than that. There we go. Now we can see that it's blue. That's good. And we're just going to slowly bring it down. To hopefully transition these colors a little bit together more so they can be together. Should I have maybe cut out things over top of these so that I could have them a different color? Maybe. Am I gonna make them this color anyways? Also maybe. Why not, right? We can make them white. Ooh, that actually looks pretty good. I kind of like that just the way it is right now. That one looks great. Let's try not to mess that up, PSW. All right. Let's not do the other one. Let's try to get a nice glow at the bottom so that it's like glowy glowy at the bottom here. Okay, I'm just gonna try to swoosh that upwards. Kind of swooshing it upwards is the plan here. Have I done this before? No. Am I making this up entirely? Yes. Do I have a plan in mind? Absolutely. I'm going to be going over this with white anyways, so it's probably going to be mostly okay to get a little bit of green on it, but I'm going to try to not get so much green on it, but it's definitely still getting a lot of green. That's okay. That's okay. If you're doing this at home and you're not very confident in your line work skills, please feel free to use a sticker to block out all of the shapes so that then you can peel the stickers away and then do the rest of it. If you would like. If you would like to do this in 2 parts, like my 2-part video, it's there. You can feel free to watch it. It's part of the playlist. But if you would like to do that, that's also a very, very valid option when it comes to doing these kind of things if you're not so confident about how to go about them. Or like that. I just kind of made it slightly round with some of the extra greens. So we've got like a green one down here, and then it goes to the blue one up here. Very beautifully done. I'm very, I approve of my work. That's good, right? There we go. There we go. So we've got a nice sky going on. Let's try to add the speckles. Okay, we're gonna make stars. It seems kind of early to make stars because I normally do this like at the very end of my space paintings, but we need to have stars first and then moons on top of, so. Because as far as I understand it, there should still be stars even from the surface of Saturn here. Now they're going to look different than our stars, but that's okay. There we go. Just get a few in there. Maybe a few right there. Okay. Just going to use a little bit of extra here to like give like, I don't know, some things going on. Some things. You know? There, things. I'm just gonna blend this away with a very, very small brush. Ha! Success. So now we have stars in our galaxy, which is great because galaxies have stars. Now I want to do something really crazy, and I want to get cadmium red into this painting, and I want this moon to be cadmium red, and then I want this sandy area to go from yellow ochre to cadmium red, which is very exciting and very different. So we're going to start with the yellow ochre. All right, here we go. And we're going to apply our yellow ochre to the distance here. And if it's stringy like this, that's okay. That makes it look more like sand dunes, which is good. We want that. We want it to kind of look like sand dunes. come in here, a little bit over there. So it's roughly in the same kind of areas. All right. Yellow ochre, and now for the cadmium red. And not cleaning my brush, just going right into it on both sides. It's just like a little bit on there. It's not even like all that much. But now we're gonna just do the same kind of thing. Just kind of side by side, rub that right in there. Trying, once again, not to get it on our sand room, who is supposed to be black and white, so. I just thought this color would make it like really, I don't know, weird, unearthly. That's what I was going for, weird and unearthly. I try to get on a smaller brush some of that cadmium red and get that right in here. Just still going in the horizontal direction, just pulling the color across to give it that like uneven streakiness. Go. Excellent. Just gonna blend some of that. There we go. Okay, we got that one down. Let's try to do the same thing. Well, not the same thing. Let's just have that cadmium red way up in here. So that these colors are kind of like reflected and like, you know, things are happening. Maybe this is what Jupiter looks like from Saturn. Maybe it's just like this big. That doesn't make any sense at all. They are very far apart. That'd be like assuming that Mars looks ginormous from Earth. Except that they're even farther apart than Mars is from us. So, science! I bet you didn't expect to have a random science lesson. But that's what you get here sometimes. Random science lessons. There we go. I'm trying to not touch the edge. Because it'll do things that I don't want it to do. I also think I am succeeding so far in not saying the name of this. So I don't know how many times I said it in the intro, but that's that many less times that I can say it now because I don't want to summon anybody, you know? I'm just going to use some white to kind of go around the edge. All right. Go around the edge. This gives it like a lot of texture, which is good. Yeah, floaty, floaty. I'm going to come back in with more red, I think. But for now, I just wanted to kind of fill in that gap of the, what the heck is going on the edge here. There we go. Now I can grab more of the red. And just kind of play around with some of the things going on in here. There we go. Gives it a little more, I don't know, things going on. You know, because like moons have like things, like craters and curves and mountains and things. So I was trying to like represent that kind of landscape diversity very subtly. There, I think we did it. There's a loose hair, but that's okay. I think we did it. I think we have like a weird kind of thing going on. Do I want to try to have like maybe some like streakiness? Some like, ooh, streakiness. You know? I don't know if I like those or not. Maybe it just needs like more. It just kind of end. The idea here is to be like loosey-goosey with it. Loosey-goosey. I'm just kind of like letting my brush kind of like decide where it wants to go. And then like working with that. And we'll just smooth them out a bit so they're not so dramatic. There! Looking cool and interesting. Cool and interesting. Okay. Door should be next, I think. So we're gonna go into some white and we're gonna mix it with the yellow ochre. And that is going to give us like a creamy kind of color. Because the door in the movie was not white. So we're just going to use our brush here very, very gently and make sure it's nice and together. Try to follow the lines of the door that we already have on here. Trying to clean up any lines that got slightly greened by the application of green. My hair almost went in the painting. That would have been bad. Anybody out there in the YouTube land also have long hair and have to worry about it getting into their paint? We can talk about that. That's a thing we can talk about. Very often I will paint with my hair either in like braids or up in a bun when I'm painting because I don't want to get my paint in my hair. So oil paints, for those of you who don't know, they don't wash out very well or at all of clothing. They go from not wanting to wash out at all to being mildly very difficult to wash out. So those are your options. So I'm gonna try to get some like streaky wooden kind of lines in here, and I'm gonna try to blend it out. So I don't want too much color in this door. I'll leave it very door-like. There we go. Door. Now you guys probably think I did absolutely nothing because it looks pretty much exactly the same. But I assure you that that was not a waste of time. All right, so in this movie, there are also weird things in the landscape. That's what I'm going to call them. Weird things in the landscape. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix my cadmium red with the green that I have here. And I'm going to make a brown. I need much more of the green. We're going to make a brown. There is a hair and I don't know where it is. I got it. Most excellent. It was a cat fur. It was not a hair. Who knew that was going to happen? Raise your hands. Oh, everyone? Oh, okay. Oh, geez. Sorry. I apparently was the only one who didn't know that was going to happen. Alright, so there are these random, like, weird wiggly things that, like, happen. I'm just going to kind of plop them in. Because they are rocks, but they're, like, weird wiggly rocks. So we're just going to kind of work with the weird wiggly rock kind of situation. There. They're very much shaped like that, actually. It's kind of weird. Like that. And then we're going to grab some of the white. I'm actually going to mix it with the yellow ochre, I think, just to give it some variations. And very gently add some like weird, no, that was not gentle enough and it doesn't look good. That also doesn't look good. Everything about this looks really bad, actually. I'm not very pleased with this. Oh no. It's because they're weird shapes that like everything about it is weird. Maybe if I use some goop and my liner brush, I kind of went at them like they were tree bombs. That's Snowy. In case anybody wanted to know, yes, I do still have a cat. And yes, he is still part of this conversation. Why, yes. See if we can get some like interesting knobby kind of shapes on here. And then from there, try to highlight it. Yep, that's Snowy. There he is. Snowy, thank you for saying hi in my video. I appreciate it. I did just feed him. Literally just. He likes to eat right before my videos, so. He also likes to complain a lot that I don't feed him, even though I do. Just gonna have a little textured sand dune kind of situation. There we go. That kind of works. See, when all else fails you, use the palette knife some more. We're just going to dirty that part up to give it like a shadow. There we go. Shadow action. See? You just got to keep going with these things sometimes. Okay, I think what I'm going to do is do the highlights with the brush, but do the main bodies of these things with my palette knife still. So I'm just gonna do another one right there. So it's got this like weird thing going on. They all kind of lean in the same direction. So we'll just keep that going. And we'll have one. We gotta have like small ones in the distance that are like small. Oh, so delicate. Sometimes what you need to be is like super delicate with these things. Perhaps I should do this part with the paintbrush because they're so small and far away. That's a good point. But for now, I will do the highlights. See if we can get better highlights on this now that we're doing it like separately. Trying to like make it look like it's got like ridges. It's not working. That looks terrible. Okay, good. Let's go back to our trusty palette knife. There we go. That looks better. It's working. Okay, good. Let me go into the background ones though and just very delicately plop that on top. Really delicate like. So that they don't get forgotten. Just trying to blend it into the landscape a little bit through here. There we go. Little landscape things. Good. I'm gonna take a little bit of it and just have some like really like small ones that are just like way off in the distance. Like they're like way, way back there. Super tiny. To give the idea of depth, we're going for depth. Okay, let's give some foreground texture and existence in front of that guy over there. This guy right here. Grab him, pull him that way. And give a little extra little doodad right there. And then we'll give a very little highlight on it. There we go. I need more of the cadmium red. This will give it more of a like dune kind of texture. Just adding a little bit of waves. We're going for like a wave kind of look essentially. And if you do it right with the wave look, you'll get a dune-like thing because it's different colors, but it's basically the same thing. Kind of making like tiny mountains of sand kind of stuff. And then I'm just going to come back in here. Okay, not with that one. Obviously not with that one. Maybe with this one. To kind of pull it out. Give it some more existence. Make everything look a little darker. Because the foreground should be the like most up front. So that's what I was trying to do there. I don't know if I achieved that, but that's what I tried to do. A little bit more of a highlight to this guy over here. There. Okay. Now we're ready for the worm. The worm. Very excitingly. Do I have a clean brush to do the worm with? No, not particularly. Not particularly, but we're gonna try. Yep, we're gonna try. So, I think we should start with the white section. That makes sense, right? So I'm just gonna come over this part here and make it nice and white. There we go. Alright. Now there are like multiple ways of doing things that are white and black to give them like depth and color and stuff. And if you're one of those artists who does paintings very slowly with oils, what you can do is actually do a layer underneath this that is a colorful drawing, picking up on a lot of the like colors and stuff that's going on in like the rest of the painting. But if you're like me and you're super impatient and you don't have time to do underpaintings, other than just gesso, that's okay. You can do the gesso and then you can come back in with some of the color to give it more depth and then blend it away afterwards. See? But you still want to add a little bit of that color variation to give it like some depth so that like it looks round and things like that. Mostly round. Mostly you're going for it looking round, but you know, it also gives it some like, it's a good way if you're like painting like a black dog or a white dog to like give a lot more life to it by just adding a few more colors in that white. So I'll be using the yellow here in the white to give the impression of depth. And then on the black one, I will probably use a different color. And that's the idea, is to just give it a little bit of depth. It might be very little bit, considering how much you guys can see, but it is there, I promise. A little bit there. What it's actually doing is making it look like the back. Oh, geez. So sorry about that. What it's actually doing is making it look like the color of the paper is showing through, but I think you can see the difference here between when it was just the color of the paper and then the white and then what I did to the door. Maybe you can see that this is like much whiter. That's the idea. So I'm just gonna come in and do this one. Same way. I'm just going to apply the white, and then I'm going to come back in with a little bit of yellow ochre just to give it a little bit of shading. And then we blend. Blending, I think, is my favorite part about using oils. I find that blending with oils is just a dream. Like, it's so easy to blend with oils. Where using other colors are just like not as easy to blend with, if that makes sense, if you're following what I'm saying here. I just find that with oils, it's so easy. Like, they make it too easy to blend with oils. So yeah, I do. So I'm gonna mix up a black, and in the black, I'm gonna mix some of the blue and the green. And that's just so that when I add a little bit of other things to it and blend them out, that like everything looks good. Okay, here we go with black on that fan brush. So you can really see here, maybe, that it's not perfectly black, and that's giving it a lot of dimension in the fact that it's not perfectly black. All right. Now, we can kind of fill in the rest of it with more black. And then we'll just blend. Because I don't want it to be like the blackest of black. I kind of want this to be more of a dark gray, but the way to do that very easily is to just blend it out when there's already white on your brush or on your canvas. Either way totally works to blend it out. Once again, we're going to spend probably too much time blending, but that's okay. You spend as much time blending as you want to spend, and I will spend as much time blending as I want to spend. And then somewhere in the middle, we'll both be done a painting. And it'll be great. By the way, if anybody is interested, there are actually calendars of my art available that are wildly affordable. Now they are limited time, so if you would like to see if they are available right now, please feel free to go to my website following the links below. And perhaps you can pre-order a calendar for yourself. The links, as always, are in the description, so you can always feel free to grab some of those links. But yeah, I do have calendars available in the description notes if you would like. I'm gonna go ahead and grab like a smidge of white. I'm gonna make a gray. I'm gonna make a gray. It's kind of a bluey gray. And the idea here is to just have a little bit of a highlight. Not overly highlighted, but a little bit of a highlight on the edge here. Maybe a little bit more white than that. Ooh. There we go. Nice little highlight on the edge there. Gives it a lot of depth and character. I like that. I'm going to grab a little bit of the dark. I'm just going to give a little bit of an edge to this, and then I'll blend that out as well. but that'll once again make it look a little more round. It also will make it look more black than it is by just having that little bit. That little bit. You guys can't see it, but trust me, it's there. One of these days, I'll get better at lighting. Right now, we are experiencing a storm and some weather, so the lighting is not what it usually is, and there's a high glare going on. I'm so sorry about that. But I wanted to do a painting, so I hope you'll forgive me that I painted anyways. So now keeping in mind where our light source is, which I'm gonna go with this being the light source, we're going to try to make sure that we highlight on this side of this one. Even though we're doing on that side of those, it's gonna be on this side of this one because it's down here. So we're just gonna come in, do a little highlight. There. I think actually maybe he'll get it on both sides. Both sides. A little paint thinner and then it did not want to flow off my brush like it normally does. There we go. That's better. And then a little highlight on the back here. Keeping in mind that this goes inwards a little, and then we blend a little bit to make sure it all looks very nice. And there we go. I think I'm gonna grab a little bit of white on my blendy brush here, and I'm just gonna add a little bit to the edge here as well. Just to lighten that up a bit. It was a little bit too much, but that's okay. We'll just come back in and do the highlights that we had before. It's all about blending. There we go. We have our lovely landscape, Tim Burton inspired, influenced setting from a particular movie. And I wonder if I say someone's name 3 times, if they'll show up, but let's not test it. We're already in a spooky month, so we don't want to test too much. But I thought that the funky colors would give it a very alternative kind of landscape area. So I just kind of went crazy with some alternate colors. If you guys would like to continue to see more spooky paintings, there is still going to be more spooky paintings. Now, if this one and the last one were too spooky for you, wow, that's okay. We've got a very reasonable on-earth one coming up next. As long as nothing changes in my plan. I might get very excited coming up next when I do my painting, so I don't guarantee that it's gonna be on Earth. But right now, my plan, my idea in my head for that painting is that it will be on Earth. So I hope you guys enjoyed this painting, and I very much appreciate you guys being here. As always, I would like to thank my Patreons for, in particular, making sure that I can still do YouTube videos as well as stream on Twitch. And if you guys would like to join, please feel free again to look in that link tree. There's a whole bunch of links in there that you can look at, all of them. this painting will be for sale in my Etsy store, so please feel free to give that a look as well. And please remember that you are loved and you deserve to be loved. And I'll see you next week. Mwah!